What's up, ninjas? Joe Robert here. This guy, Ryan Hogue, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, Ryan Hogue, he made a video right here, this one here, responding to my video about Amazon. And then him and I got together. We chatted. We talked about, Amazon versus Shopify, and we recorded it. And that's what this video is. So make sure to check out Ryan's channel, link down in the description, also in the pinned comment of the post. Check out our interview. It's coming up right now, and let me know what you think, Amazon or Shopify.
All right, what up, guys? Thank you for joining me for a new video. Today, I'm joined by Joe Robert of POD Ninjas. What's up, Joe?
What's up, guys? What's up,
hey,
Ryan?
man, I appreciate it. I'm glad we were able to get this, get together and get this video going, because I have a lot of questions for you about Shopify print on demand. Those of you that subscribe to my channel know I like to kind of trash talk it a little bit, but it's really just kind of me mixing in my personal opinions. I know that you can be successful with it, as Joe teaches and as he is himself. So I'm excited to talk to you about that.
Awesome, man. Yeah, like I said, you and I were just talking before this, and I think one thing that's cool is like you did a reaction video to my video, and I was definitely pleasantly surprised with not only how you were, but even like your audience. Like I think I had commented on the video, like saying like bracing for ruthless YouTube commenters or something like that. And there really wasn't anybody like that. So I definitely appreciate you and the audience. So thanks.
Yeah, man. And like we should, before we dive into, because I mean, I've got a bunch of questions just in my head that I want to ask about. And you don't have to, you don't have to give away all the secrets, but I'm definitely going to be asking some questions about how to, separate yourself from the average experience of people that start and it's not just Shopify. To me, it's just like third-party website where I'm going to create a presence. But why don't we start with just like your thoughts on me kind of defending Amazon merch's honor?
Yeah, sure. So I think a lot of people, like for me to actually pitch Shopify, I think the easiest way to pitch it is to talk about some of the reasons why you might not want to consider Shopify. And, first and foremost, like one of the things that you had said in your video was that there's, Shopify costs money to start, right? $29 a month. Amazon is free, right? And so that's one of the first things that people think of. And in my opinion, this sometimes ruffles some people's feathers. Is $29 in the scheme of thing is not a lot. And if that is what's going to hold you back from starting a business, like $29 a month, if you don't have that, I'm not sure that online business is even right for you. You know what I mean? Like you might be better off using a free platform and treating it as like a little hobby that you do once a week. You know what I mean? So that's the first thing. And the second thing, one of the big things that you talked about was the like getting traffic to a store, right? And like how, if you're going to have a Shopify store compared to Amazon, when you're on Amazon, one of the things you said was you're on the biggest worldwide marketplace. You have a Prime logo next to all your listings. And on Shopify, you're kind of in your own ocean, right? Trying to figure out how to get traffic to your store. And honestly, the traffic piece is, in my opinion, can be just as easy as Amazon. One of the things that I actually teach is how to become your own Instagram influencer, right? For those of you watching, or even Ryan, I'm sure you might know, but like an Instagram influencer is like let's say that you're in the unicorn niche, right? You create unicorn products and you go out and you find a large Instagram page for unicorns. Then you message them and say, hey, can I pay you $20 for you to make a post for me, right? One of the things that I teach is become your own influencer. Start a free Instagram account and start posting content that people that like unicorns will like. And then eventually, as it grows, you can get free traffic to your unicorn store, right? So again, some of the things that you had said, like I think to pitch Shopify, like I like to get those out of the way first, but I think I forget your original question was, why do I like Shopify?
Well, yeah, I guess I'll just pick, because I want to like I always think of it kind of compartmentalized. For instance, like you just addressed like the traffic thing, and I was going to piggyback off what you just said while it's on my mind. Like, so you really do have like the complementary skill set, I'd say, to my approach. Like you're talking the third party presence, social media, traffic building through ads, and I literally do the opposite of all of those things. So it's like it's perfect. Honestly, it's two worlds. But as far as like Instagram goes, because like I have an account, but I'm really not on there much. Like, did Facebook create recently like a shop that keeps you in app? Because I always thought they didn't want to take you off the app. So is that a part of your strategy? Like, how does it work?
Sorry to interrupt, but yeah.
No, so how's it work?
over in like May, Facebook developed a feature called Shops. They actually partnered with Shopify and a bunch of other e-commerce services to create it. It's not something that I am an expert at. I'm not even like ready to speak on it. I haven't even created my own yet, mainly because it is so new, and I have a few things going solely on Shopify, and I do a whole bunch of other things too, so I haven't had the time. But just to speak on what I do know is like they did create a feature called Shops. It basically allows you to create a store right on your Instagram profile. No one has to leave Instagram to make purchases from you, and it's probably something that over time is going to be a big part of what I do, but currently it's not.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just thought I'd ask. Like, I saw it and I started creating a shop using the website that I told you about off video. And I got to the point where it was like import products, and I think that might be where the Shopify integration comes in. Because I remember hearing that too, and I remember seeing Shopify stock jump like 4% that day. And it's like I don't have like a Shopify store with the products anymore. I did set one up, and I've talked about this on my channel. What I ended up doing on that website that gets like a ton of traffic was, but they don't come to buy. That's the other thing. They come to like just look at the content. So I got rid of the Shopify store and I just created Amazon affiliate links to my merch products. So that's what I currently have set up.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think, kind of going back to like your first question, I think the biggest reason why because that's what we're here for, right? Is Shopify versus Amazon, right? And in a friendly way. But the reason I prefer Shopify, it's anybody who is actually serious about creating a business and passive income online that has $29 a month, right, to start a Shopify store. You and I both know that both methods are hard, right? Neither one of them are get rich quick, okay? And I think that the hardest part of Shopify is actually the hardest part of Amazon, and that is actually creating a design that people want to buy, right? Shameless plug. That's why I created something called the Print on Demand Challenge. It's a nice program where I actually teach that. That's the whole point. It's just how to create a product that can sell. But if that's the hardest thing and you can master that, I think that if you can master the product part, you can go way farther on Shopify, right? Because some of the things I was talking about in my video was that on Amazon, if you're selling a t-shirt, you're going to make $3.72. And on Shopify, if you take, that same t-shirt design and you put it on a product like this is a bracelet from the Print on Demand app, Shine On. Like if you just took that same t-shirt design and put it on there, like you can make almost $30 in margin on this. And so if you can master the design part, which is the same hard part on Amazon, and then you go on Shopify, you can scale it much quicker. Right.
For sure.
Is the basis of my argument. Obviously, there's a bunch there, right? You got to figure out how to get traffic. But honestly, the traffic is the easy part. Like in my Facebook group, there's people all day long that are posting screenshots saying, hey, I had 10,000 visitors on my store this month and nobody bought. Like, what am I doing wrong? And that brings me back to, well, the hardest part is actually creating that product. The traffic, honestly, if you're going to use Facebook ads, it costs money, but it's not the hardest part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like I haven't spent too much time with Facebook ads myself. So to me, it's like one thing that, I'll eventually dive into and I'll demystify it and talk about how easy it was and how I should have done it earlier. But
it's definitely not easy. Right? Like it's not the hardest, right? And it does cost money because if you're going to spend money on ads, it costs money to do that. But hopefully you'll make sales and be able to reinvest it. But in my opinion, if you're going to put if you're going to put 10 points of effort into Amazon and then you start making daily sales and you put that same effort into Shopify, you can take that much farther, in my opinion.
Sure. Yeah. It's just in my mind. And I think I think like my perspective on how I approach business personally is like, I always think of like any business I'm going to do as like, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability.
Sure.
And so like, I know for sure that like, if you sell on Amazon merch, the number of variables is much lower than Shopify. Cause when I think Shopify to do it to the utmost, and this is like stuff that I'm a web developer too. So I got a little bit of an edge as far as like the technical knowledge and confidence. But like when I think Shopify and if I was going to do it to the best of my ability, I'm thinking like, and I've already kind of gone down the rabbit hole. Like I mentioned, I launched the shop and then I closed it. And but like I want to start like kind of customizing my store, probably waste too much time doing that. I'll end up using a bunch of add-ons to increase conversion rate. I'm going to grow an email list and then, the whole email marketing side. And then even just thinking like Amazon ads versus Facebook ads, like let's just say they're both created equal, but I know that with Facebook, you can split test X number of different, creatives do the same thing. Whereas on Amazon, they'll just take the primary thumbnail from your product and run with that.
Yeah, totally. I remember you saying that in the video you made responding to me. And actually, when I watched that for the first time, I like took notes because like I knew I wanted to talk to you about it. And that was one of the things I had done, but I can't find the file where I had those notes. So like now I'm just trying to remember, but that was one of the things. And like you would think that split testing is like a big deal, but like honestly, let me see if I like, let's say you were selling, like the only time you would really split test a lot is like, let's say you're drop shipping and you're selling like this battery pack or something, or a pair of glasses or some sort of kitchen gadget. Like that's when you would get really into your creative, right? Because you'd want to be able to describe the product. But when we're selling, like a phone case like this, just an image with just the phone case is fine. So there's not a whole bunch of split testing. That was just one of the things I wanted to.
I never really, that's the thing. I don't know. So I don't know what works. Like,
right.
Yeah. I thought you'd have to like go and, I mean, just me being like, crazy, always overdoing stuff, over engineering stuff. Like I'd think you'd have to go probably pay, like place it, some, whatever. I don't even use place it honestly, but whatever it costs to create like some crazy video ad,
Right. Some of my best ads have been like me ordering my product and literally just filming it real quick on my iPhone. Sometimes I find that like the more amateur an ad looks in terms of video, like it makes it seem more real and it looks like it's supposed to be in the Facebook news feed rather than like a high quality.
It's a good
video.
Suggestion.
You know what I mean? It kind of blends in more and people don't even realize they're watching an ad until they're 5 seconds in. You know what I mean? They think that it's just one of their friends that posted something. So, but yeah, there's definitely, I mentioned in my video, like I have a video on my channel. It's called like Shopify is the worst ever or something like that. And I go through like some of the reasons why, Shopify might not be a great place. And definitely Facebook ads there's a major learning curve there. Is it hard? No, but just like anything that you're going to do when you're new, there is a learning curve there. And it's something, it's something I've been teaching it for a few years and it's something that I've like, people are brand new and then they go through training and they know how to do it. You know what I mean? But the hardest part, like I said earlier, is creating that product. And if you can't do that, then you're not going to be successful in either platform. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's also like, my mind always goes to the concept of like, when there's money at stake, like for instance, with print on demand, it's kind of like you can participate for free, but if you're doing like Amazon FBA, or if you're doing anything that involves like where paid ads are a integral part of your strategy, like you probably save money in the long run by investing in learning from somebody that's been doing it, that's an expert. It's easy. It's easy to overlook that, but I just want to say, like, it really, to me, like when I started FBA, I paid $2,500 just to learn and understanding that, like, and coincidentally, my first order all in was $2,400. So I spent more on the knowledge than the first order, but I was so much more confident that I would get it done and get it done right from that investment,
Definitely. Yeah. There's, you'll see it. Anybody who's watching the video, if you're a member of any Shopify Facebook groups, there's tons of them. I'm sure all day long, you're going to see people talking about, oh, I spent this much on ads and didn't make any sales, or should I increase the budget on this or whatever? Like there is definitely a learning curve there. And that's why I said, like, you're either super serious about creating this business or it's just a hobby. And if it is just a hobby, that's great, right? Like that's fine. Like that's why free platforms like Amazon, Teespring, Redbubble exist, right? Because you can go and you can start for free, and you can, even if you're making your own designs and you've never designed before, you can open up. There's tons of free softwares. Like you talk about them on your channel all the time, and you can play around. And even if you're just going to put text on it with a quote from the presidential debates and hope to sell hope it goes viral, like you can do that for free, and you can't do that on Shopify. So that is the biggest distinction there that I like to make, is that yes, Shopify, there is a learning curve, but I think if you can figure out Amazon, then you can definitely figure out Shopify, and Shopify can, in my opinion, take you much higher in terms of how much money you're making.
Yeah. I mean, if you own the whole vertical, like top down, I think it's hard to argue that would be a worse choice, long term. But I also, there's so many like advanced little things you can do. And I always think like, man, if you're going to do it 100%. Like if you use Printful, or I don't know if Printify does this, probably not, I guess, but like Printful, you're not supposed to do this with Amazon, but with Etsy, for instance, there's nothing against it. You can put a little insert in your orders and you can pay Printful like 70 cents, I think, or 80 cents. And it's like a little, hey, like 10% off on your Shopify store, and try to reroute the customer and make them,
that's a good idea. I don't think Printify does that, but there's tons of print on demand apps that do it. Like the piece of jewelry that I showed you earlier, the company that does that is called Shine On. Like they have a Shopify app. They're based in the United States, and you can put inserts in those. There's print on demand apps that do like shoes and a whole bunch of other things that you can brand the entire shoe box and stuff like that. So there's definitely options like that. That's Printify doesn't do it, but there are options like that. Yeah.
Nice. I was going to ask too, because have you heard of the print on demand production partner Gearbubble?
Yes. Yeah. That's kind of like their own. I haven't used it, but it is. They're like their own platform, right? Yeah.
This is why I asked, because like, they are kind of an alternative to Shopify, and they actually even built out what they called, I think, Gearbubble Plus. So I am a Gearbubble user, but I use them for their integrations for mainly Amazon, just to get that out of the way up front. So, but like they charge monthly, so I don't really recommend Gearbubble to many people. I just don't think it's necessary to do that. But I was going to ask, because the owners of Gearbubble, or at least one of them, there's two. He's like an extremely successful digital marketer. Like he's like one of the ones that you would just call Facebook ads expert, like pretty well known. His name's Don Wilson, and
I'm Facebook friends with him.
Okay, cool. Yeah. He's a beast. And he would make a lot of money through, I think, just driving people straight from the Facebook ad to the product listing page on Gearbubble. And it was just like super basic, as basic as you would imagine. It's got all the little, like, here's a countdown, here's the title, here's the pictures, add to cart, so basic. Like when you run your ads from Facebook or anywhere else you're advertising, is that what you do? You go to the product page. Is there anything special to increase conversion rates that you'd recommend? Because I'm sure some people are watching that run their own Shopify.
Sure.
That would benefit.
Sure. So one of the biggest, so I review, like one of the things that I do like on my channel and in my Facebook group is I review people's stores. And one of the things that I see a lot of people do is they'll spend a ton of time like making their homepage of the store like really branded. Like they'll go get like place it mockups, make it all fancy, and they'll write like a big about us section on the homepage and all this other fancy stuff. And then you go to their product page where they're sending traffic, and there's a picture of the product. And then when you create a product with a print on demand app, there's like 3 or 4 lines of generic default text that is generated. And they'll just keep that there and do nothing. And so then someone goes to the store and it says like, make this shirt your favorite part of your wardrobe. And then it has like 4 bullets, like 50% polyester, 50% cotton, true to size. And that's all they do. Right. And I'm big on like product page branding. One of the tip for anybody watching is try to use jargon, right? If anybody watching who doesn't know the term jargon, but it just basically means words that certain people in a niche will understand. Like I have an example that I give a lot is like, let's say that you are running a store for people who love guns. One thing that you could do is you could write protected by our bulletproof guarantee on your product page. And then it kind of makes them feel like you're more legit. So there's a bunch of ways you can do that. Like when you're writing out a product description, even if it's just a paragraph long or something, there's a lot of different things you can do. One thing that I recommend too is like if you have any sort of pop-up on the store, like let's just say that you have a pop-up that asks for someone's phone number in exchange for 20% off, and then when they give you the phone number, you're able to text them in the future. One thing you could do is, let's say you had a dog store, or actually, let me back up. A lot of times people will say, I have a pop-up, I'm not getting anybody to give me their phone number, and that's because their pop-up is really generic. And one thing you can do is, let's say that your niche was dogs, right? You could create your pop-up and have it say, be a good boy and give us your phone number for a treat. Right. Yeah. And then it kind of makes it you seem more human. So I think that's like the big disconnect there is a lot of people, they just upload their design. They make it really generic. They don't edit anything that the print on demand app generates there in that generic text, that 4 lines of like 50-50 cotton, whatever. They don't do anything. And then there's no brand there, right? There's no branding. And when the customer comes to the store, it just seems super generic. So yes, to answer your question, I do send people to the product page. That's what I teach. That's what I recommend. You should also utilize Facebook retargeting, which is done with the Facebook Pixel. Like you can set up a retargeting ad. Anybody watching, whoever, if you ever go on Lowe's.com and you're looking at a grill, I'm mentioning this example because it happened to me over the summer. I was browsing grills on Lowe's.com. Then I went to Home Depot and looked at the same grills to price compare. And then on Facebook, immediately I started seeing ads for those same grills from Lowe's and Home Depot. And that's retargeting. And a lot of people, when they're running Facebook ads, they're not doing any retargeting. And, if you're only going to convert.
That's priority one, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like you gotta, because like I said, like if you even said it in your video, like you're trying to get people to come to your store and then take out their credit card. And if you're not retargeting, as soon as they leave, they're gone, and you can set it up to show them
a video a week ago, I think, or 2 weeks ago. And it was about Redbubble and how they retarget. And it's like completely done for us free, but it's so effective.
Yeah. Shine On, speaking of like, you mentioned Gear Bubble and their platform, like for anybody who wants to dabble with like other products that Amazon doesn't have, but you don't want to go and open a Shopify store, Gear Bubble's an option like Ryan mentioned, and Shine On, that jewelry platform, they have, stuff. I brought props today, Ryan, if you can tell.
Nice.
But Shine On, like they have these dog tags here, and these honestly, they're not like, they don't feel like they came out of a vending machine. Like they're pretty nice. And Shine On has its own $9.97 for one of these.
And what are you flipping them at?
And the recommended price, I haven't sold a lot of dog tags, but I've sold bangles. The bracelet I showed you, roughly like 39 is the average.
Nice.
Shine On has a MSRP though of like 39 up to all the way up to 79. So I'm imagining they probably do have some sellers selling it for that if they're putting that out there. But one thing about, I don't have an example of it, but my point in bringing up Shine On was they have their own platform too that you can go create accounts on. You don't have to open a Shopify store, and they do the retargeting thing as well for free for you. But
Nice.
Shine On, this one doesn't show it, but with the Shine On platform, you can actually have the customer engrave the back of the bracelet. So like you have the front of the charm with your design. This one just says POD Ninjas that they sent me. But then the back, the customer can actually engrave that with whatever message they want. And that's, an added way to get an upsell on the sale.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Dude, that's sick. Yeah. And jewelry is one thing, like, cause I got my start with print on demand with Gear Bubble. And I think honestly, like I might just be a dum-dum, because it was like jewelry was the main thing that they were telling us to sell. And they have like really, really good base costs with like, I think don't quote me because I didn't sell a lot of it, but I'm pretty sure you like on average, you're making like 20 a pop. From the suggested to the base. And for me, it was like, I always prioritized merch by Amazon, which meant my design dimensions were optimized for vertical rectangles, which meant t-shirts, coffee mugs, and the likes of that. So that's really what I've been doing to this day, is prioritizing for that,
Right. Yeah. And then when you go to the other product, it's a different design template, basically is what you're saying. Yeah.
You can't really convert the t-shirt to a bracelet or a necklace where it's circle.
That's a question I get a lot too, is that like, there'll be people that come to me and they'll say like, hey, I've been selling on Amazon. Some of my designs, they haven't really sold well. Like, can I just take those designs and put them, on a pair of shoes? And, usually my response is like, well, technically yes, but you're going to have a really weird looking pair of shoes because of the way that a t-shirt design is. The same thing is true. You can see right here, like that pillow and the water bottle next to it have the same ninja on it. But if you were going to put that on a product like this, which is a phone case with a wallet inside, it would look very weird,
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's another thing that throws people up when they come to Shopify, is they want to sell other products, but they don't know how to. With Amazon, you can probably get by making your own designs if you've never designed before, because there's resources out there that you can use for free and make text-based designs. And if you're going to sell something like this, you probably need a designer to do it.
For sure. Yeah. Agreed. And I was just going to say too, I really agree with the point you made. Just because like it's, I see similarities when I'm doing like Etsy shop reviews or just answering questions in my Facebook groups. Like a lot of it is about like Redbubble shop, Etsy shop. And it's one of those things that I think is like fun for us to create a shop that's branded and looks nice. Yeah. But like, for sure, the average customer journey does not involve seeing the shop. It involves like going to the product listing, adding to cart, and checking out without ever stopping by the shop. And that's why it's like For sure. I agree wholeheartedly. Like, it's fun to have, your own Shopify store and customize the homepage, make it look super professional. But like, if you sent people to the homepage, like, you're adding clicks. And, I teach web development at a university, and it's like, I always talk about, like, because we launch a website in the course as like the final project. And it's always like optimize for fewer clicks. We talk about like uninformed web users is what the book calls it. And it's like, you just got to make it easy for them, because not everybody is like comfortable using the internet.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing too, at least people that come over to Shopify, let's say they even just come over to Shopify and they're selling a t-shirt, like I'm sure you might teach this too, is like try to limit like the amount of colors you offer the shirt on or the design on. Cause like people have analysis paralysis and they'll never make a decision if they have 25
That's something
colors.
That I didn't even think about. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. We do that for like hoodies and t-shirts and things like that.
Nice. I've been recently talking more about like, on Merch by Amazon, just trying to differentiate yourself. Cause I mean, really, when you're, something you don't deal with when you run your own store is like, if you're selling what someone wants to buy and you're ranked, you're still one of many. On Amazon, you're one of 48 in the search results. So I always say, like, if you have the extra time, if you think it's justified, because there's two ways to do it. You can just optimize for speed and not worry about it, or take the time and look. I've been lately recommending more and more, like, if everybody's got the black thumbnail, the black t-shirt, don't offer it on black. You know what I mean? Like, offer it on like any other color, so that you don't get the primary thumbnail. Yeah. And you pop
in that way in the search results. If you have a white shirt or a blue shirt, whatever, it shows up. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. And I actually put this in practice. Like, I did a live stream on Wednesday for my Amazon merch, like, private group. And we did like a live research design sell. And through like, I think it's been 48 hours now. We've gotten like 8 sales of that design. And awesome. That one is a lot of luck, honestly, because it wasn't like, I just looked at what was selling and used that logic and ended up getting lucky. But
nice.
Yeah, man. So I like that as a tip too. All right. Well, hey, we're getting close to 30 minutes. So why don't we wrap up? But I definitely want to give you the chance to just let me know anything that you would recommend, as far as, because there still is a lot of people that watch my videos that are in my Facebook groups that are super interested in Shopify. It's definitely one of those buzzwords that people, their eye sees it and they get attracted. They want to know more. So like, can you give any, you want to just talk about even what you offer in your course in case they're interested?
Yeah. So I have, I have multiple courses. I have a website called podninjas.com. There's a free course there that will teach you how to open your store, what print on demand is, how print on demand apps work, things like that. I also have, there's other programs in there with, some of them have no access to me, some of them have access to me. But basically what I say that I help people do is that I help people create print on demand brands on Shopify. I believe that the brand is the key. When I'm talking about a brand, I'm not talking about like a logo like Nike. I'm talking about if you were to sell, products in like the nursing niche, you would do nursingthings.com and you would create a whole bunch of nurse themed products, just like you would on Amazon, but then you would become that authority in the niche, right? Like that's how I view Shopify, is where you want to create that brand. You want to put yourself on Instagram as well, become your own influencer, and then at the same time use Facebook ads to scale all your products.
So basically you're more a fan of niching, like a niche store per se?
Yeah. So I guess this will be a nugget for the listeners if they made it 28 minutes into the video. But one of the big things I teach in my course is there's people that start print on demand and they have all these niche ideas in their head, right? And they want to go and they're like, oh, I know that a niche store is best, but like, I don't want to open 16 different stores. And then I also know that general stores, which is more than one niche, isn't really the right approach, because then I don't have that branded strategy. And what I do is I create what's called a general testing store, which is a general store. And you basically delete everything in the menu. So like when you go to the menu, it won't say like t-shirts, hats, hoodies, blankets, pillows. It'll just say like contact us, about us, track my order, and that's it.
Okay.
So when someone comes to your product page from an ad, they don't know that you have unicorn and Trump t-shirts. You know what I mean? Like they don't know you have all this different stuff. And then what you do is, when you go to the grocery store, I don't have any here, but you go to the grocery store and they have like a store brand water compared to Poland Spring. And then their store brand has a brand name. You almost do that on your general testing store, where your general testing store is called like joesmarket.com, right? And then on the store, like say you were selling something for Trump, you would create a new logo for that product page to put on your product image and then talk about in your description how this is a brand of joesmarket.com.
Sure.
And
yeah.
So you're just
constructing the flow of information, and essentially like, since the customer is really, you only want them to convert on that one page. Like, so yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
And that's what I really recommend for people that are like, hey, I have, all these niche ideas. I don't want to open more than one store, but I also want to create a branded store. How do I do that? Well, that's what I teach to do, is to be able to test niches on one store and then take it to a branded niche store and become that authority. I've even, part of my journey is like, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Shopify Exchange. It's a service that Shopify actually runs where you can buy and sell Shopify stores that are already running. And it's all legit. Like it's, Shopify controls all of it. They show all the financials of the stores.
Awesome. They do that
and everything. And I've sold now like several stores on there because I'll grow a brand and I'll, have an email list. I'll have proven sales. I'll have an Instagram account with tens of thousands of followers, and I'll sell it all as a bundle. It's not something I do every day. I've done it like 4 times over the last 3 years, but it's, for those too, like if you have $1,000 and you want to go buy a store that's brand new, maybe not with a lot of sales, but it's set up, you can do that too.
That's actually, I mean, I didn't even think about that, but if, like that should be on the table for anybody that maybe you understand what needs to be done, but don't have the time to do it all yourself. Which, I mean, I'm always a fan of kind of understanding the ins and outs, but maybe, if you want to reverse engineer the end goal, and the end goal is just to make money, then maybe you do just buy a store that's already bringing in money. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, like they have stores on there, Ryan, that are like $200,000 to buy, because there's stores that are doing millions of dollars, and
that's crazy, dude. And wait, what's the website so people know?
I don't remember the .com, but if you just Google, let me see real quick, Shopify
Exchange.
It's actually, I don't know if you can actually, it's exchangemarketplace.com. When you actually sell a store, you have to add an app to your Shopify store. That's how I've always gotten to it in the past. So I didn't know the actual .com, but it's exchangemarketplace.com. And it's just a whole bunch of Shopify stores that are listed. But yeah, man, like I said, definitely pumped to be able to do this on your channel. And, obviously if you're watching this on my channel, like we're uploading it both places. But one of the things that I thought was cool is like when I first went into watching your video, I was like, all right, here we go. Like I'm going to have to defend myself. And you were definitely a great reviewer. Your audience was great and everything like that. Sometimes people on YouTube can be relentless, and you definitely weren't. So appreciate that.
Yeah, man, I'm happy that you feel that way, because that's the first review I've done, and reviewing is a nice way of doing content and introducing. Sure. I can't get an interview, or maybe it's the segue to get the interview. Like this time, it's a nice way of like introducing myself and my audience to new content. So I'm glad that worked out. But thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and of course, thanks, man.
Link in the description. Show Joe some love. His channel is very complimentary, I'd say, to what I talk about on this one. So I mean, this is it just makes sense to subscribe to both.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right, man.